What's up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny. We are back with another This Week in Destiny, giving you the full breakdown for the up and coming week. This week is week 13 of Season of the Wish. With that we have the continuation of the Riven's wishes. On top of that we have a full breakdown of the weekly rituals, the bonus ranks, a brand new Crucible mode, and so much more. So be sure to stick around and enjoy the video. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a comment and rating down below. And remember to subscribe for more Destiny 2 content. We are well on our way to 200k, so make sure to hit that red button and ring that bell to ensure you don't miss an update. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Another week and another This Week in Destiny. This is week 13 of Season of the Wish, and it should have been the final week of the final season in Destiny 2, but due to the delay in the launch of the final shape, we have the continuation of the Riven's wishes. Now last week saw us needed to complete Master or Legend Lost sectors whilst defeating up to 1600 combatants. Thankfully that was point based, so it only took 2 runs to do it. For the up and coming week, in week 4 you'll need to complete tier 3 blind well, as well as taking out 1500 targets. Now these are likely to be points based as well, so there's a very high chance you'll achieve all the target requirements first before completing your tier 3 blind well run. Now as some eagle eye gamers amongst you have identified, if you don't own Forsaken and are collecting weapon patterns for things like the Apex Predator, you won't be able to craft that weapon unless you own that expansion. For me, this is a massive oversight and something that Bungie definitely needs addressing. There's no point running Riven's wishes if it's just going to ask for your credit card details at the very end. So just a little something to bear in mind if you are chasing down weapon patterns, that you will need to own those expansions, and hopefully Bungie will address this in an up and coming update. Now next up we're going to move on to the featured raid challenge for the Crota's End raid. This week's challenge takes place over at the Ute encounter and is called Equal Vessels. Now all 6 players must rotate the Chalice of Light buff in the same order throughout the entire fight. Now this is inclusive of any enlightened players you'll need in order to take out the wizards. Now the quickest and easiest way to do this is to set up a rotation. Our fire teams normally use the roster, and once you work your way through that rotation, ensuring you're enlightening enough players as you go through, and as soon as you've completed the rotation you can place the chalice in the pedestal at the lower section of the encounter. It sounds tricky at first, but once you get into the swing of it, it's a fairly simple challenge to complete. And if you and your team can nail it, you'll gain access to an additional raid chest and some bonus raid loot. Now speaking of raids, this moves us on to the featured raid and dungeon content for week 13. The featured raid for the week is Kingsfall. Now Kingsfall is a personal favourite of mine, and this week gives you a perfect opportunity to earn the King Slayer seal. As the featured raid, all the challenges are available, which is perfect if there's any triumphs you need to complete. On top of that, you can also farm out the weapon patterns for what are some of the best weapons available in the game. And on top of that, if you don't have the Touch of Malice, the exotic scout rifle, which is also exclusive to this raid, you can even farm Oryx the final boss if you're looking to add that to your collection. Now as for the featured dungeon, this can be found over in the Grasp of Avarice. Now this launched back in the 30th anniversary pack, is one of the best sources for artifice armor, with the ogre and final boss both being great sources. Alongside that you have some incredible reprised weapons, and it's even the home to the infamous Galahorn rocket launcher. There are so many reasons to jump into Grasp, especially if you're chasing high stat spiky armor, so be sure to add that to your list of things to do shortly after this week's weekly reset. Now next up we're going to move on to the featured exotic mission, and this week's mission is the Operation Seraph's Shield. Now this launched back in Season of the Seraph, so you will need to either own that season or the Witch Queen expansion in order to access it. Now this mission is the home to the Revision Zero, the exotic craftable pulse rifle, and as well as that you can pick up armor and weapons from Season of the Seraph 2. That includes the Fire and Forget, Tripwire Canary, Disparity, Path of Least Resistance, Judgment of Kelgoroth, and the Retrofit Escapade. That's alongside the Ikelos weapons including the hand cannon, the shotgun, the sniper rifle, and the much sought after SMG. And alongside all those weapons you can even pick up the Warmind's Avatar armor set. Now these can drop during the course of the mission or upon activity completion, and can even drop as deep sight resonance versions. So if you are looking for craftable weapons and specifically their patterns, then this is the week to jump back into Operation Seraph's Shield. Now next up, we're going to move on to Dares of Eternity and the 30th Anniversary Pack activity. Alongside the Scatterhorn armor set from Forsaken, we see the return of the Pathfinder armor set from Season of the Lost. Now naturally, alongside Season of the Lost armor, we do have all the Season of the Lost weapons too, including the Fracta Fist, Chrysuria Mellow, Vulpecula, Wolf-Toned Draw, Iota Draconis, Canis Major, alongside the Contingency Plan, Legal Action 2, Outrageous Fortune, Still Sybil Z14, and the Spoiler Alert Sidearm. Now all these items, weapons and armor can drop during the course of the activity when you complete it, or by handing in strange coins over at the Star Horse in the Treasure Hoard. And if there's any particular weapons or armor that you would like to see in the Dares of Eternity rotation, then be sure to sound off down in the comments below. Now next up, we're going to move on to the weekly rituals, and we see a returning Nightfall and Grandmaster Nightfall for week 13. This comes in the form of the Sarp's Battleground over in the Cosmodrome. Now this is one of the tricky ones in this season's rotation, but if you and your fire team can equip Polaris Lance and keep your distance, then this makes it a fairly simple challenge. As always, if you and your fire team can knock out the Grandmaster challenge, especially with a Platinum medal, then the Warden's Law is available and guaranteed to drop as an Adept Nightfall reward. Now moving on to the Crucible, this week sees the return of Rift and Elimination as featured Crucible rotators, but this week also sees the introduction of Sparrow Control. This is basically a watered down version of combined arms back from Destiny 1, minus all the additional vehicles that were available in that particular mode. Naturally, the maps in Destiny 2 are considerably smaller as well, but if you fancy a different challenge inside the Crucible, then this week will be the week to try it out, and once you've given it a whirl, be sure to let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now as for bonus ranks this week, this is in fact available across all playlists, so whether you're completing Vanguard Strikes, Games of Gambit, or even trying Sparrow Control in Crucible this week, you'll earn bonus ranks across the board. It's an absolutely ideal opportunity to earn the ritual weapon for the season, or if you've already picked it up, earn the exclusive ornaments which are available from each of the ritual activity vendors. Now next up, we're going to move on to the Lost Sector calendar, and this week kicks off over in a guided precept and will be offering exotic chess pieces. On Wednesday, you can head over to Scavenger's Den for a chance at exotic helmets, with Thursday being found over in the Skye dock and offering exotic boots. On Friday, with the return of Trials, you can head back to the Quarry for another chance at exotic gauntlets, with Aphelian's Rest being available on Saturday, offering exotic chess pieces, alongside the Bay of Drowned Wishes to round out the weekend on Sunday, offering exotic helmets. And to round out the week, you can head back to the Chamber of Starlight on Monday, which will once again be offering exotic boots. So as always, if you are still filling out your armor collection, then be sure to plan your week accordingly. And if that's already filled out and you're chasing world drop weapons, then once again, be sure to plan ahead. And if you want to check out this calendar in full for yourself, make sure to do so over in Today in Destiny, and I'll leave the link to that down in the video description below. So there we have it guys, a good look on everything that you can expect for week 13 of Season of the Wish. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to check out one of the 2 videos you see here in these cards for more Destiny 2 content. And if you want to keep up to date with everything to do with Destiny 2, then be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to pick up the game as always guys, and I will catch you all again very soon.